is the master distributor for Savant in the Middle East and North Africa for all the region. So Pete's gonna do the product introduction. I will be here also to answer your questions. If you have any questions, I will be reading your messages here. Thank you. Thank you, Pete.
Yes, you're very welcome. So thank you very much, Joe, for hosting this event, and thank you all for taking the time to attend today. I greatly appreciate it. And we're going to get started here really quick. Actually, right now, I just want to give you a brief introduction. My name is Pete Baker, and I'm the International Business Manager for Savant in the EMEA region and also other parts of the world. And very happy to be here with you today. We're going to spend some time just giving an introduction to Savant and also just talking about why Savant is so well regarded and liked by dealers in the area. First, I'll give you a little introduction to who I am. Like I said, my name is Pete Baker. I'm the president of the Big Corp, and I have a global sales representation company. You can see some of the brands that I represent at the bottom of the screen. Some of them you may have heard of: Klein Tools, Savant, Near, Rust Sound, and Artisan, to name a few. And prior to launching the Big Corp about 4 years ago, I was the VP of Sales and Marketing at RTI for 12 years and led all the sales, marketing, training, tech support, customer service. All those different departments were under my leadership for 12 years. And I left in 2014 and launched the Big Corp. And prior to joining RTI, I was an integrator for 20 years. So I've literally worked on thousands of projects over my career, 30 years actually total in the consumer electronics industry, and have the great opportunity to travel all around the world and meet with dealers all over the world, including in Joe's territory in the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa. And I've had great success traveling around the world and meeting with dealers and just seeing great excitement about Savant. And we're going to touch on that and talk a little bit about why those dealers love Savant so much and what has really got them excited about Savant. So the agenda for today, first we're going to talk about who is Savant, what's a little bit of their history, why they're growing so rapidly with such dedicated dealers, what products do they offer, and how are those products different, and how would a company like yours benefit from offering Savant. So first of all, a little introduction about Savant. Savant was founded in 2005 by a technology pioneer named Robert Madonna, or Bob Madonna. He is the current CEO, chairman, and majority shareholder in Savant. We have over 200 dedicated employees at Savant, and I would say about 70 or 80 of them are dedicated to engineering and product and software development. We also have over 50 patents awarded or pending in automation, audio, video, and lighting control, and over 100,000 commercial and residential installations that have been successfully deployed worldwide. And Savant is growing very fast. You know, we all understand that it's a tough industry and many tough economies around the world, but even still, Savant is growing 60% year over year for the last 4 years. And we have 2,500 professional system integrators worldwide that are dedicated to offering Savant as their primary control and automation solution. So it is definitely a company that's on the move, and you're going to see as we go through this presentation just how important their dedication is to their dealers, the end user customers, and also to delivering innovative technology and solutions. So first of all, what does Savant technology deliver? What do we have to offer with our technology that's a little bit different from the competitors out there? First of all, it's the most scalable control solution on the market. The way that I like to describe it is Savant, when Bob Madonna started Savant, he actually started out with a one control system, which is a leading control system brand that's still in the industry. And he started out with that solution and wasn't happy, so he pulled it out and put in another leading brand and wasn't happy with that solution and said, I'm just going to create my own. And he did that, and a lot of people thought he was crazy, but he launched Savant in 2004, and he launched Savant to create a very intuitive and flexible control platform for his own project, which was a massive home that he was building. And so we started out by developing a system that's like a 7 Series BMW, a really high-end, sophisticated system. And once we had that absolutely perfected, then we came out with a 5 Series, a 3 Series, and a 1 Series. So now we have a very flexible and expandable control platform, and we're able to deploy those very sophisticated systems extremely efficiently and quickly using the innovative Savant Blueprint software platform, which we'll touch on as well. That allows you to configure and deploy these systems extremely quick. And we're also a forward-thinking company. What we like to say is Savant likes to see around corners and see what is coming down the road. And you'll see as we go through this presentation just how dedicated Savant is to developing innovative technology and unique solutions. So I can tell you that in the software release that we have coming out today, 9.1, we have more software and technology loaded into that one release than most of the control platforms have throughout the entire year. So just in that one release, there's a lot of innovation that's packed into that one release. We also have very sophisticated solutions that can be configured very simply. No high-level programming is required. You don't need to program all the individual macros or time delays or things like that. It's all done automatically through the Blueprint software. So that allows you to be more efficient in deploying these jobs, whether it's a real basic system or a very sophisticated system. And Savant personalization, that's really an area where we set ourselves apart from the competition, because we're able to allow personalization and put that actually even in the hands of the consumer. So if they are in their home and they're listening to some music that they really like, and the lighting and climate and the shades and so forth are all exactly where they want them, they can quickly capture that and save it as a scene, and they can recall it either from any of their user interface devices, a remote control or an iPad or a smartphone, and they can also recall that via voice. So we also allow that consumer to personalize the user interface and have actual photos of their different rooms and their different projects. So if you have customers that have multiple homes around the world, they can easily access every one of those homes through one very intuitive app or user interface. And Savant's business strategy, I think it's important, as I said, I was an integrator for 20 years. I like to know who I'm working with. And I like to understand, what their vision and their direction is. And Savant's business strategy is very clear. They want to remain the most innovative company on the market, period. And that is not just as it relates to control and automation, but also IP audio, IP video, the Studio App, SCM, and True Image, which we'll get into. They're also going to continue to invest in luxury end-to-end solutions. and deliver products with attachment opportunities for your existing jobs so that you can increase the business on each project. And also scalable price points for every single project. And we want to expand our international business by incorporating local needs into our solutions. So we're very focused on that and looking at your individual markets and making sure that we have the right solutions and support that you need in your local market. Now let's talk about the Savant configuration software, which is called Savant Blueprint software. So we have one platform that's used for every single project, and it's really revolutionary. This is something that Savant developed back in 2004, and they've just been perfecting and enhancing that ever since. And many of our competitors are now trying to catch up and come out with a rapid deployment platform similar to Savant. But that's something that we developed and really changed the industry in 2004. And I can tell you that in my system, I have a pretty sophisticated system with 18 zones of audio and 8 zones of video, intercom at the front door. I am able to control my garage doors and thermostats and lighting control and all kinds of things. And it took me 4 hours to program my first system in my home. That would have taken me several days or maybe even a week to program with some other platforms. So large multi-room systems can be configured and deployed in a matter of hours, not days or weeks or months. And the other cool thing that I really like is software and firmware updates are done seamlessly through the Blueprint software. So when we release an update like 9.1, that doesn't just update the Blueprint software itself. It also updates all the drivers for you if any changes or fixes have been done to the drivers that control third-party products. It also updates the firmware on all the devices in the system, whether it's your host or master control unit or the individual user interfaces that are used in the home. So one update, you don't need to run around the house and plug into different devices. It's all done seamlessly through that Blueprint software, which I think is really cool. And you can do that remotely as well. And with Savant's Blueprint software, we really changed the way that you program and deploy systems. So rather than programming each individual device and each individual IR code and control element, you simply lay out the system in a very logical and intuitive fashion and lay out the flow of the system. So you start with what sources are you going to have in the system? And then what are you going to use to route those sources? What type of audio or video distribution devices are you going to use? And then where are they going? What rooms are you going to have those devices available in? Once you lay that out and simply drag and drop a line to show the system flow, you hit go and it auto configures the entire system. So it's very intuitive, and all the low-level programming of creating macros and even drivers and two-way communication is automatically done for you. You don't have to do that individually for all those devices. That's why it's so efficient. And we auto-generate the user interfaces. And I am a CDS subject matter expert on designing user interfaces, and I've probably programmed thousands of user interfaces over the course of my career. And I can tell you that there's no way that I could design a user interface as well as the Savant user interfaces that we have to offer. They are really, really intuitive and well designed. And it's not just because of Savant. It's because we have the largest beta tester list in the industry as it relates to control and automation. So if you would like to become a beta tester, please contact Joe at GES, and he can help you to become a beta tester. So we rely heavily on our dealers all over the world to give us feedback on how we can provide an even better system and platform for you and for your end user customers. We also offer remote system access and diagnostics through the Blueprint software so that you can look and see what devices in different systems you've deployed might need system updates or firmware updates, see if everything is working properly. We also allow you to design that system while it's offline and then remotely upload it if you need to. We can also store and reuse configurations on the cloud. So it's a really powerful platform. We're not going to get into the nuts and bolts of Blueprint software, but Joe and his team would be happy to go through that with you. We also have industry-leading device support with over 7,500 of the leading connected home and entertainment devices that are already in our platform. And the nice thing is when you do a software update with your Blueprint software, you automatically get the most updated list. So any new device profiles or drivers that have been created will automatically get added. You don't have to download those manually. Now let's talk about the Savant products. So with Savant, we have what are called hosts as the heart of the system. Some people call them processors, some people call them master controllers. We call them hosts. And we actually have 4 different hosts that we use, okay? The first two on the left, the S2 and the S12, are our most popular hosts that we have to offer. The first one is really a single room host. That's intended to be used for a single room application, and it's very aggressively priced so that you can compete.
Pete?
Yes. Yes.
Are you moving any slide?
Yes. Yes.
No slide are moving.
No slides
I
are
see
moving.
only your home.
No slides are moving.
Yeah, I see only your home.
Okay. Okay. Do you
I
see
got
now?
messages from everybody. I thought only me. Yes, yes.
Okay. 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 Great. So with the Savant hosts, we actually have 2 different hosts, the S2 and the S12. Like I said, the S2 is a single room application, but we do give you some flexibility and allow you to have a couple additional rooms. If, for instance, if you're using a surround receiver and you're using zone 2 and zone 3 and you just want to have a couple extra rooms of audio, no problem. You can easily do that. So with the S2 host, it allows you to have up to 2 rooms of video and up to 6 rooms of audio. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is
Pete,
yes.
host 2 is upgraded for 4 videos and 6 audio.
Okay. Okay. 4 rooms of video and 6 rooms of audio. Also has built-in control ports for IR and RS-232 control. So that's built into the host. You automatically have some control ports that are built in. And the entry-level package also includes a Savant Pro Remote. Then we move up to the S12. That's what I use in my home. Like I said, it's a pretty large home automation and audio and video distribution system. And this allows you to have up to 12 rooms of video and 18 rooms of audio, and also has built-in control ports as well. So that's a very powerful host. That's probably our #1 selling host, and I imagine for Joel, that's his #1 selling host in his region as well.
Yeah, here I need to bring your attention, guys. We have 2 types of host, Smart Host 12. We call it host 4. We have host 4 with audio, music server, and host 4 economic. And we have a package host for economic. The economic comes only host, no music server, because we usually give the music server free separate. So just for your info, many of you have already the price list. New dealers here, we have a lot of new dealers here. They will know about this very soon with the pricing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. And then we have the Savant Pro Host and Super Pro Host. So it's important to understand that these, the Savant Pro Host and Super Pro Host are unique because many control solutions out there don't offer something this powerful. These are actually Apple computers that have the Savant software running on them. So they're extremely powerful. These are for very large systems. If you have a real large project and you need something that is very powerful, these offer you really unlimited open capacity for entertainment, lighting control, shades, cameras, security, etc. And they also include remote access system diagnostic tools as well. So these are very, very powerful hosts that can be used in some of your larger projects. Even if you have an MDU project where you want to have one pro host kind of operating that whole building, you can certainly do that with a Super Pro host. Or if you have multiple properties on an estate, that's another great application for the Super Pro host. And then in conjunction with these hosts, we also have what are called controllers. Okay, with the controllers, these allow you to expand the control ports that you might have available for each one of those hosts. And particularly with the Pro Host and Super Pro Host, they don't have control ports built in. And so you would need to add these controllers. And you can see we have a wide variety of the controllers, and they're tied into the system via the network, either via Wi-Fi or hardwired Ethernet. And you can see, starting with the Smart Control 2, you know, that's a very small, simple solution. It just gives you one relay and one GPIO port. The 3 gives you 3 IR ports. And then we move on up to the Smart Control 25 with 8 RS-232, 8 IR, 3 relay, and 7 GPIO, general purpose IO ports. So these give you great flexibility if you just need to control a lift or a projector or maybe a small little mini system or subsystem. You can easily add these into the configuration and offer remote control somewhere else in the project. Now let's talk about the Savant user experience, and this is an area where we really excel, and it is highlighted with our Savant Pro Remote. The Savant Pro Remote really is a phenomenal remote control, and I think you need to see it and use it to believe really how fantastic this product is. First of all, the feedback that I get from dealers when they pick up this remote control, or even end user customers when they pick up the remote control, they absolutely love the look and feel and fit and finish of this product. And that didn't happen by accident. When Savant decided that they wanted to develop the best remote control in the industry, they actually hired Robert Brunner, who was a former head of industrial design for Apple. And they hired Robert Brunner and his team, Ammunition in San Francisco, to design this remote control. And they really did a phenomenal job with the industrial design of this product. And not only does it have a cool industrial design, but also the user experience and the way that this controls the system is very unique and powerful and intuitive. And it also has some very unique features as well. You can see right on the top of the remote control, there's a power button. And if you push that power button, that can turn the system off just by pushing that button. It's very easy. I use it every single day. It also allows you to have extended battery life as well, because of the way that we design the remote control. It is Wi-Fi and communicates to the host via Wi-Fi. The Bluetooth version has been now discontinued, so we don't have that available anymore. But the other very cool and unique feature that we have to offer with the Pro Remote is the microphone button that you see in the center of the remote control. And that's a really cool feature because voice control is something that's very popular, and there's a lot of talk about that in our industry, of course, but also a lot of consumer interest in voice control as well, with the addition of some great features from Amazon and also from Google and so forth. So this product allows you to simply push the button when you want to activate voice control and avoid having someone listening to you all the time. So it's a really powerful feature and something that our dealers really enjoy using to sell Savant against the competition. Also with the Pro 8 app, this is really an area where Savant excels again. And this did not happen by accident. As I mentioned earlier, we really rely heavily on our dealers around the world to give us great feedback on how we can improve this user interface. And with 9.1, the most recent release from Savant, there's some incredible new features that have been added with the user interface in the Pro 8 app. So I'd encourage you to check that out. If you haven't played with the Savant user interface or the Pro 8 app, I'd encourage you to download the demo, because the demo is really powerful, and we just made some great updates to the demo. You can really experience what that Savant user experience is like just by downloading the demo app. We've added actual, a real life type of interaction with the front door, where you can see somebody walking up to the front door and see actually how that works. You can play around with the Savant True Image lighting and also the Savant music, and really get a good idea of how that works. I also have demos available on my website at thebigcorp.com, and I believe Joe does as well on the GES website. So please take a look at those. They're really great videos, and it's something that you can even possibly add to your website as well. So those videos only last about 30 seconds, and it gives you a real good idea of how that interaction works. So first of all, let's dive in a little bit into the Pro 8 app and show you how this experience is for your customers. So we're starting out with the home screen, and that'll show you what's playing. And all you have to do is touch that area where it says Sonos is now playing in the living room. Once you do, that's going to zoom in and give you control of that actual Sonos stream that's playing. And then you can also swipe down and see a list of all the rooms that you have in the system. And that allows your end user customer to see all those different rooms that they have in the system, and actually images of their actual rooms. Of course, we provide some standard clip art images, but it's very, very easy for either you or your end user customer to add their own images. It's very easy. And even if they paint the room or redecorate, they can simply update those screens on their own without having to call you back out to the project. And then once you touch on one of those rooms, like living room, then you'll zoom right into that room, and you'll be able to control that individual room and turn on lights, adjust the climate, access different sources, or what we call services, because something like shading or lighting control isn't necessarily, that's not a source. So we call those items services. And you can zoom in and control those individual services very quickly and easily. You can also have micro interactions just from the home screen. If you press and hold lighting control, it'll quickly pop up with a mini screen that just allows you to quickly control or adjust those lights. And then once you have adjusted the lights, that micro screen will just disappear. Also, a unique feature with Savant, as I mentioned earlier, is the ability to create scenes. This is a very powerful feature with Savant. Imagine allowing your consumer to create macros, system macros, or capture scenes, whatever's happening in the home. If somebody's watching the Disney Channel and they want to save that as a favorite, so that they can just say, turn on the Disney Channel, no problem. Once it's playing, you just swipe to the left. You'll get this screen. You press the plus button, and there's a very simple wizard that will walk you through the different steps to say, what do you want to capture? Just the video or video and audio? What about lighting control? Do you want to capture the lighting scene? Do you want to capture any shades, and so forth? And once you save that, you can recall that from any of the devices, or just specific users can save that. For instance, if I want to save the golf channel, my wife and my daughters probably don't want to capture or access the golf channel, so I could just save that for my user interfaces. But it's very simple and easy to do that, and a very powerful feature. We also have in-wall touch panels available from Savant. We have a 5.5 and an 8-inch touch panel that are available from Savant. They don't require any programming. Once you plug them into the network, the Pro 8 app is automatically loaded onto that from the host, and then you can set what you want to be the home screen. So if it's located in the kitchen, you can set the kitchen zone as the home screen, and whenever you walk by it, it'll wake up and give you the kitchen home screen. These are very, very powerful touch panels as well, and affordably priced. So check these out from Joe and the team at GES. The 5.5 is portrait only. The 8-inch can be mounted either portrait or landscape. Now let's talk a little bit about the Savant audio distribution solutions. And I think this is an area where Savant really, really excels. As I mentioned, I've been in this industry for 30 years, and I've installed really thousands of systems. And I can tell you that as a former owner of an integration company, I've installed nearly every kind of distributed audio system that you can think of. And I've also sold distributed audio systems as a rep or manufacturer for about 15 years. And the Savant AVB and IP audio platform is simply the coolest system I've ever worked with. There's no way I would go back to a traditional matrix switcher. And I think that you'll see that the Savant IP audio architecture is far better than the old traditional matrix switchers that I've installed for many, many years. First of all, with those legacy audio solutions, you have fixed switching. So usually you have a 4x4 or an 8x8 audio matrix, and if you add another one, you get additional zones, but you don't get additional inputs. That's not the case with Savant. Also, there's extensive cabling. When you need to stack those matrix switchers, you need to loop or share sources in some way, shape, or form. And there's also multiple analog and digital conversions along the way. With the Savant IP audio platform, you can instantly share sources. It's a very, very flexible design and installation process, and it's much better quality. It's digital from the source to the speaker. So if you look at the Savant IP audio system, this is actually an 8-zone Savant IP audio system with 3 streams of music. So imagine that this is a 8-zone system with the equivalent of 3 Denon Hios or Sonos streamers built in, but they're Savant music streamers. Okay, and this is all the cabling that would be required for this entire system. All you would need is the power supplies, the power cords, and 3 network cables to tie each one of those into the network.
Pete?
Yes.
I'm getting WhatsApp messages about, not only today, it's been always, how you want to do this over IP and how it's complicated to program. So guys, if you did not ever yet install the video over IP from Savant, I know that it will be difficult to see how it works. It's very easy. You just, in the blueprint, connect the network cable to the switch. It's a 10 giga switch from Netgear, and the receiver will be connected to the TV. In the programming, just put the wire only prior, and it will pop up in the application alone. You don't have to see it complicated. It's very easy, and you can see from any room to any room, any source to any source. It's very easy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So as you can see, this is all that's required in the system. You have 2 of the Savant distributed audio pieces. You have a Savant streamer for an additional stream. Each one of these has a stream built in already, which we'll cover in a minute. And then we also have the Mo2 switch, okay? And that's the AVB switch that creates all the magic to put this all together in one seamless system, okay? So now let's talk about the Savant IP Audio 50, which is the heart of the Savant distributed audio system. With the IP Audio 50, this is just such a phenomenal product. I actually have 4 of these in my system, and this product is just amazing. So first of all, you have 4 source inputs, okay? 2 analog and 2 digital. You can see those right here. Here's my 2 analog and my 2 digital audio inputs. And then you have 4 powered zones that are 50 watts per channel, okay? And then you also have 2 passive outputs. So in my system, for example, I also represent Near outdoor speakers, and Near makes a couple DSP amplifiers. So I use those outputs to power up a Near DSP amplifier, and that gives me 2 additional zones. Okay, so that is a very powerful feature that's included with the Savant IP Audio 50. And then we have 6 control outputs in each one of these IP Audio 50s, 4 IR and 2 RS-232.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I need to. I have a query related stereo output. Do we have a option in stereo output a separate volume?
I'm sorry.
I mean, stereo output has a built-in volume controls, or if we add another amplifiers for using this IP Audio 50 and get audio through digital optical output. So do we require equalizer in between of both unit or not?
I think I understand your question. I believe that the analog output is variable or fixed. You can choose variable or fixed. The digital audio output is fixed. Does that answer your question?
No, Nadir is asking if we need to add equalizer between IP50 and the TV. You don't need to add any equalizer because the IP50 has built-in equalizer. And the other question you were asking, Nadir, about the volume. When you set up the optical out from TV to optical in IP50, in your programming, in the Blueprint Savant system, you can say the volume is from the IP audio or from the TV or from both. You can mention this from the settings, and you can see two volume level. Usually people decide one of them, of course, always IP50. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I guess there's another point related to what Ibrahim has asked, and that is that can we control the volume of each independent zone through your Pro processor?
Yes, sure. You will decide any zone, which volume you want to do, if it's from the amplifier or from the TV. Once you build the system, you do the wiring, there is a room you can decide where the volume is. So that's why I was talking to Faizan. This will be in the programming technical. Today we are doing only the product introduction.
Right. So that means each and independent zone can be controlled. The volume of
Yes.
Can be controlled separately.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's keep going. We've got a lot to cover here, guys. We're about halfway through the presentation, and again, if you have questions, you can also send Joe messages on the chat, and he's standing by to answer those. So now let's look at how this system expands beyond 4 zones or 6 zones, and actually look at the actual connections here. So first of all, you have a house network system that you have which is just a traditional network switch. That would go into a Motu AVB switch, okay? And then each one of these IP audio 50s or IP audio devices would get plugged into this Motu AVB switch. And that's where the magic really happens. And of course, you need to have a smart host that's tied into the system as well. So in this first step, we would have 4 powered zones plus 1 stream that's built in, okay? And then when we add another IP audio 50, that's where it really gets cool, because you're not just adding 4 additional powered zones, you're also adding additional inputs as well. So you also get to add 2 additional stereo inputs and 2 additional digital inputs. Analog and digital inputs. So you get 4 additional inputs and 4 additional powered zones and 2 additional passive zones as well. And that blends into one seamless system. Okay, so once you add additional sources on the second amplifier, they're automatically available on the first amplifier. Okay, so now this is turned into a 8-zone, 8-source system. And we also have added another stream as well. When we add a third IP audio 50, we add 4 additional powered zones, 2 additional passive zones or pre-outs, and 4 additional sources as well that are shared globally. So it's a very powerful system, and all that you need to do to tie these all together is just a simple network connection back to the AVB switch. And you can have up to 24 of these IP audio 50s to deliver 144 zones of audio. Very powerful and robust. So you can deploy very large systems very simply and easily just by adding an AVB switch to tie everything together. So now that we've covered the IP audio 50, just to recap, 4 zones, 50 watts per channel, audio switching and control, multiple boxes can be linked together via AVB, and you can have up to 6 zones, 4 amplified and 2 preamp, and it also includes a single stream of Savant music. Then we also have the Savant IP Audio 125, which is just a more powerful IP audio distribution amplifier. So instead of 4 zones at 50 watts, it's 4 zones at 125 watts per channel. And we do add an additional relay and GPIO port as well to that device. So really great products. These can be mixed and matched within a system. If you have certain zones, maybe outdoor zones or key listening areas where you want some more power, no problem, you can do that. And also, it's very important to understand that the control ports are not limited to that specific zone. For instance, if you're using one of those IP Audio 50s for a master suite area, master bedroom, master bath, master closet and shower, dressing room, and so forth, you can still use those control ports to control something completely different. Maybe it's a projector or a TV or some type of video device, no problem. They're completely flexible and available globally throughout the system. We also have some great audio breakout options that are tied into the AVB system as well. So if you look at the top device, that gives you 3 analog inputs. So if you need additional inputs, no problem. Or if you need additional analog inputs or digital inputs, you can add this AIM-7C and easily add some additional inputs. And we also give you some local IR and RS-232 ports for local source control. So if you have a turntable or some other source device located remotely, maybe it's a television in an exercise room that you want to tie into the system, no problem. You just tie the audio out of that source into this box, plug it into the network, and now that would be available globally throughout the system. And you can also limit what zones or users have access to that specific source, okay? And then we have the second device, which gives you 8 zones of unbalanced audio output and 2 GPIO ports for amp triggering. So if you need additional outputs, maybe you have some high power amplifiers that you want to tie into the system for a listening room, or for, like I said, an outdoor zone where you want to have 70 volt power, no problem. You can easily do that. And then the last device would give you balanced audio output as well. So we have a lot of great options for flexibility to expand that system. And you're going to see many more options as well as we continue through the presentation. And this is a great example. This is a really cool little device. This is the Savant Music Streamer. So this is a separate streamer. And years ago, Savant used to use a third-party platform for their music streaming option. And it was a great solution on its own. But the problem was, anytime there was any issues with the integration between Savant and that third-party streaming solution, it was really complicated to fix the issue. And Savant finally said, you know what, we need to have our own streaming music platform. And so they stepped back. They invested a lot of money and time and resources for over a year in developing the Savant music platform. And it is a phenomenal platform. I obviously use it in my home every single day. They have had 0 issues with it. In fact, it's a real testament to Savant that when I put my system in, I had 4 IP Audio 50s with the old streaming platform. When Savant came out with a new streaming platform, through a simple firmware update, I was able to update all 4 of my IP Audio 50s and switch them over to Savant Music. And it went extremely smooth without a single issue. And I've been using that now for over a year. So the Savant Music platform, the nice thing about that is we control that experience. If we want to enhance that experience or make any changes to it, we have full control of the streaming solution and streaming platform. and that allows us to deliver the best possible user experience for our customers and end users. The other cool elements with the Savant Music platform is, first of all, it's high res. So it's 24-bit, 96 kilohertz, and delivers high quality music from Tidal and Deezer and some of the high res music streaming solutions. Also native AVB, so there's no connections needed to use this with a Savant IP audio platform. If you want to just simply tie this in and add another streamer, all you need to do is take an Ethernet cable and plug that into the AVB network, and now you have an additional streaming solution in that system. Or maybe you have a surround zone or a media room or home theater, and you want to tie this into an audio video receiver. No problem. You just tie the digital output into the audio video receiver and then plug it into the AVB network, and now you have that AVB available in the media room as well, or in that other zone. So that's what the digital audio output, or Toslink or PCM, is used for. We also offer full Airplay support as well, and you can see all the streaming services that we have available. So it's a great little box that we have to offer if you want additional streams added to your system. Now for the Savant IP video. This is another area where Savant really excels. And they have several different solutions for their IP video, okay? And we start out with the chassis. So we actually have 4 different models of chassis. We start out with the PAV VIM 4S and VIM 8S. These are our standard video distribution chassis, either 4 input or 8 input. And these are simply tied into the LAN. They offer full 4K 444 video distribution, so high res uncompressed video. They do require a 10 gig network switch when you use these, so just keep that in mind. And then we move on to the advanced video distribution chassis, and these have built-in video processing and audio processing. Actually, both of them do support video tiling, but the advanced input chassis also have audio processing. That's why you see the AP in the model number, VIM AP4S and VIM AP8S. And with the advanced video distribution chassis, they feature audio embedding and de-embedding and downmixing. And the other cool thing with the advanced chassis is they also tie into the AVB network. So that allows you to downmix the audio and send it over the AVB network. So if you have a satellite receiver tied into the system that you're distributing throughout the house and you want to be able to listen to satellite music, no problem. You just tie the audio output into this chassis, audio output from the chassis via AVB into the AVB Mo2 switch, and then you have that available as an audio stream available to all the audio zones throughout the home or the project. Then we have the individual video input modules. So if you have a system that has 4 zones and you want to add an additional input, or maybe they have 4 inputs and you want to add an additional input, maybe the system grows or they add an additional source, you don't need to buy a whole nother chassis. You can simply add another one of these video input modules into the system, and then you would have another input available in that system. Or you can design these systems without a chassis and just use the individual video input modules. Maybe you just have 2 sources and you're going to distribute those to 10 TVs throughout the house. No problem. then you have the flexibility to do that. Now, it's important to understand that on these video input modules, different from the chassis, we sell two different models of the video input modules. The first one does not have video processing, okay? So it does not support video tiling. The second one, the advanced one, does have video processing. That's why you see VP in the model number, VIM VP1C and VP1F. That means either copper or fiber. So these can be tied into the network either via copper or fiber. And neither one of them will support AVB. So if you want to have the best possible experience and be able to tie the audio into the AVB network, then I would recommend that you start with the chassis, okay? And if you need to add additional sources, you need to decide whether you want that to support tiling or not support tiling. If it doesn't matter, if it's just a camera or something like that, or you know, a simple source that you don't necessarily need to be included in the tiling experience, then you can use a standard video input module. But if you want it to be available in the tiling, you do need to use the one with video processing. Okay? And then we have similar offerings for outputs for the display devices that you have throughout the project. So if you need, if you have 10 display devices throughout the project, maybe some of those don't need video tiling. Maybe it's just a surveillance product, or just a simple TV in a spare bedroom or something like that. No problem. You can just use a standard video output module for that television or that video display device. And then for the more key video or viewing areas, then you could use the one with video processing, either copper or fiber. And again, these all would need to be tied in to the system via a 10 gigabit network to offer the best possible video experience. Now let's talk about the video tiling solution from Savant. I really believe that we have the best video tiling solution in the industry. It's just phenomenal how simple and easy our video tiling solution is to operate. And again, if you download the demo app from Savant, or from the App Store, I'm sorry, download the Savant demo app from the App Store, you can actually see exactly how this works. But if we look at the image on the left and you see the iPad or tablet device there, if you click on the little speaker that's above DirecTV and drag that to the upper left corner to Apple TV, now immediately that area that you're watching would automatically transfer the audio from the Apple TV, and you'd start listening immediately to Apple TV. So it works very simple and easy. If you decide that you want to have another source in one of those quadrants, no problem. You just simply touch on the source that's in the bottom half of the screen and drag it up to one of those quadrants, and then automatically you'll start seeing that. Okay? Also, if you touch on one of those sources, it'll go full screen. And we also have a great feature for presets as well. So if you look at the smartphone display that we have there, you can easily choose from different presets that we've created or create your own presets. For example, I just recently was in the UK and I was talking with a dealer, and he said that he loved that feature for one of his clients who travels all the time, and his wife is home alone quite often in their apartment in the UK in London, and she likes, whenever she's watching TV, to have the surveillance camera in the lower right corner. So she could just choose that layout PIP lower right and have the surveillance camera in the lower right and watch whatever source she wants. Very simple and easy. And these can be set just by simply clicking on that plus button, and you can create your own preset very quickly and easily. So please do check this out with the demo app and see.
Hi, sorry, can I just, sorry, it's Anthony from Abu Dhabi here.
Yes.
Two things. In regards to Etisalat and Abu Dhabi, it only can go through their box, basically their TiVo box, their satellite box. So it would either have to go through HDMI, but we cannot put it direct into your AP, into there via their Ethernet. It just wouldn't recognise the pictures wouldn't be recognised. So how would we get that to play for one of our customers?
I don't understand your question. Joe, do you understand the question?
Okay.
Do you understand the question?
No, Anthony, can you repeat?
Okay. So with Etisalat, their IP system, but you cannot put it. You cannot plug their Ethernet cable where the signal, the pictures come through into Savant.
Are you saying they don't have an HDMI output?
They have an HDMI, but you're saying IP.
Okay,
No.
Anthony, the source you have from Etisalat, OSN, any has an HDMI out that goes to the HDMI to IP encoder, and then the IP encoder, each input has this dedicated Cat6 or fiber to the Netgear switch. It has each one, and then once you are in the switch, you connect it to every port in the Netgear to the receiver who is behind every TVs. You cannot do cascadable switches here because we are talking about 10 giga switch, and we have in the price list Savant listed the Netgear with huge switches. We can go to very large switches. So once you are in the 10 giga switch, then anybody can watch any source from any TV. Does this answer your question?
Is that just for HDMI? Yes.
Super.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just to clarify for everybody, I went back to the video input modules, and if you look at the video input modules, on the left-hand side, you'll see, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but there's an HDMI input for each one of these. So that's where you would plug in the source, HDMI in, and then this box converts that to an IP signal and sends it out over a 10 gigabit network. All right.
Fantastic.
I'm receiving people asking why 10 giga network. So this is just to remind you, Savant is working on HDMI over IP uncompressed. That means you will see the full resolution. It's same as you are watching any UHD DVD direct cable to your TV. Other companies, they do compress. The compress is different from the full details. So our system is distributed uncompressed. We need 10 giga switch. That's why you will get full resolution. No resolution has been lost. Nothing has been hidden.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Yes, we want to deliver the best possible experience for all of our customers around the world. So we made a decision to use the 10 gig platform so that we can deliver the best possible resolution of uncompressed video. So that's what we have to offer. And now I'm very happy to tell you that the Thailand support is now available on the remote control as well. So you actually have that great control capability on the Pro Remote as well. So the vision with Savant is to have a complete AV over IP solution. And if you look at how this works, we want to offer video over IP, audio over IP, Savant music over IP, and also premium speakers over IP, which we'll cover in just a moment. So it's important to understand that for the audio distribution, that's all done over a 1 gig AVB network switch. So that you just need a traditional 1 gigabit network switch to support the AVB, and then of course you need to have an AVB Mo2 switch as well, which we covered earlier. For the video distribution, you do need to have a 10 gigabit network switch, but for audio, just 1 gig. And now let's talk about Artisan. So years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was, Savant acquired Artisan. And Artisan is a premium speaker manufacturer that's been in business for many, many years. And Savant purchased Artisan and owns Artisan completely. And with that acquisition, they also acquired all of the technology that Artisan had developed. And the reason that Savant did that is because they wanted to offer a premium end-to-end solution, not just the amplifiers and the audio distribution, but also endpoints as well, so the speakers. And Artisan has some very unique solutions. They have fantastic soundbars, but they also have these unique LCR speakers that go on either side of the television. And whether it's a soundbar or LCR speaker, you can get a grill to match exactly to the width or height of that television, that specific television that you have going into that project. And Joe and his team at GES can walk you through that process. It's very simple. You just need to provide the make and model or dimensions of that television, and we can offer a grill that matches exactly to that television for that project or that display for the project. Also, with these LCR speakers, you see that there's just 2 speakers, but those 2 speakers actually form a left, center, and right, because the top half would be the respective left or right speaker, and the bottom half is used together to form a center channel speaker. So it's a great solution. We also offer in-wall subwoofers and premium architectural speakers from Artisan as well. And those are all available right through Joe and the team at GES. Now let's talk a little bit about new and upcoming releases, because I think it's important for you to understand that Savant is continually evolving and developing new and innovative solutions. And that's something that I look at as a rep. When I look at different companies, I want to know, did they just come out with a couple cool things and then got lazy or didn't come out with anything new or cool or innovative? And that's not the case with Savant. Savant is constantly coming out with amazing new innovations and technological advances and solutions. So first of all, this is a great product that we released just at the very end of last year. It's a multi-channel AV receiver to offer 5.1 surround in certain areas of your project. And the nice thing about this is you can just mount this directly to the back of a flat panel display, and it is a very powerful amplifier. Even though it says 50 watts per channel for the LCRs and 25 watts per channel for the surrounds, I can tell you that I was recently in Australia, and we had this as a demonstration in a meeting room at a hotel, and it was shaking the walls. It really produces some amazing sound. And this is a nice way to add surround sound in maybe a study or an office or an exercise room or just some small room in your project, and avoid the need to run all those speaker wires and connections back to a central rack. You can just put this on the back of the TV and run the wires right there and offer 5.1 Dolby and DTS surround in that room. So it's a really fantastic product. I'd encourage you to check that out with Joe and the team at GES. And also, this is a great little product that we're just releasing now. This is an IP Audio 1. This is a single zone amplifier, and it's powered 125 watts per channel. So this is really a little beast of a device. It has a lot of power packed into a small box, and this allows you to add not just one zone remotely, but actually two, because it also has a analog output that can be used for a separate amplifier if you want to add some additional power into a remote zone. And then it also features IR and RS-232 control for local control. So if you have an exercise room or a master suite, or maybe it's a separate little pool house or something like that, that you want to add a separate zone, it's very easy to do that. You just tie this into the network that ties it into the AVB system, and then any sources that are plugged in here would also be available globally throughout the entire system. So this is a really cool little box. I'm very happy that that this is now available, and you can also add multiple IP Audio 1s into the system if you want to add additional zones without adding a whole IP Audio 50 or IP Audio 125. So great little solution. And then this is a product that I absolutely love. This is a single I/O box, input-output box that ties into the AVB network. So imagine that you have, again, like an exercise room or a family room or something where you want to add a little bit better sound into that room and add a subwoofer, no problem. You just tie this into the AVB network and take the audio out and plug that into a subwoofer, and now you can have a subwoofer in that zone with separate volume control as well. Or maybe you want to add a separate amplifier, or you want to add a separate source somewhere remotely in the project. Very easy to do that. Just tie this into the AVB network and put your source into this box, whether it's audio out from a TV or maybe a turntable or some other source remotely located. Very easy to tie that into the system. So great little solution box. And now we also have a great little soundbar that's tied in as well. And this comes in either 46 or 55-inch lengths. And this little solution, the IP Audio soundbar, also has a stream of Savant music built into it. So this is a way to easily add a soundbar, tie the audio out of your TV into the soundbar, plug it into the AVB network, and now that audio from the TV can be available globally throughout the house. So if you have a customer that has maybe an office or a study or a family room, and they want to have the audio from that local source available out by the pool or somewhere else in the home, no problem. Just plug in this IP Audio soundbar, tie the audio into it, and that's available globally throughout the entire project. And with this, we're taking it a step further and actually tying a host into the soundbar. I think this is an amazing solution product.
Excuse me, Pete. Sorry.
Yes.
This is Live from Sambar. With regards with your soundbar.
Yes.
What's the maximum amount? I mean, only one soundbar you can put for one source.
You can only have one source plugged into the soundbar, but you can add multiple soundbars throughout the entire project.
Okay.
Okay.
Clear. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
thanks.
So this IP Audio soundbar with the built-in host, this has everything that the IP Audio soundbar had previously. It has a built-in Savant streamer for music built in, also has inputs available for tying in local sources, but it also has a host built in. So imagine that you're working on a small hotel or MDU, or maybe you have a client that says, I want to have something installed in my office or boardroom, but you can't get any wires there. All you really need to do with this is just tie a network connection into it and it has the host built in. This is an all-inclusive solution that you can tie in and add Savant control system very quickly and easily into some of your projects where wiring might be complicated. So please keep this in mind because it's a very unique solution that we have to offer.
Hi, Pete. One clarification.
Yes.
Since there's a built-in host, does that mean that we will also be able to upload our blueprints?
Yes, of course. It actually has an S2 host built in. So anything you could do with an S2, you could do with that soundbar with the host built in. Okay?
My question is, how many inputs in the soundbar? I mean, HDMI, digital input, or analog inputs?
No video inputs. You only have, I believe, one analog and one digital. Okay? And now let's talk about the micro aperture speakers. These are some other really cool products that were released by Savant recently. And the one on the right, I'll start with that. That's a traditional passive speaker. And that just has your standard speaker connections built into it, but it has a very nice footprint on the ceiling. It's just a very small 4-inch footprint that you see on the ceiling. And then we have the IP audio micro speakers. So the first one on the left-hand side has a PoE amp built in, and that would be called the master. Okay, and then you can add 4 of the additional slave speakers onto that just by daisy chaining or running in series from the first one. You can add up to 4 additional, or I'm sorry, up to 3 additional speakers. So 4 total powered off the first from the first one. And that just gets tied into the network, and it's powered over the network with the PoE amp built inside. So these are really cool solutions that we have available. And then let's talk about door entry. We have a very good solution for door entry. And instead of Savant deciding to create their own door entry solution, they looked throughout the industry and partnered up with who we believe is the best door entry solution provider in the industry, and that's 2N. So all of the 2N door entry solutions that are produced are available through GES as Savant branded door entry solutions, and we also have seamless integration built into the Blueprint software to integrate with those 2N door entry solutions. And as you can see, we also have additional buttons at the bottom of the screen that allow you to have interaction with that door entry solution. So for instance, in my home, I have Savant 2N door entry solution. I could, on my app, if somebody rings my doorbell, I could open up a garage door for the UPS guy and allow him to put a package in my garage, and I can see him put the package in my garage and then close the garage door. So those 4 buttons are flexible buttons that you can determine how you want to use them, either to arm or disarm a security system, turn on front door lights, lock a door, open or close a garage door, and so on.
Sorry to interrupt again.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. 2N. We have on 2N, you can have fingerprint and I can't remember what it's called now.
No, it's a module, but it's a module, Anthony. Yeah, it's a module that you can add. It's a module.
No problem. All of the 2N solutions would be available. All of the 2N solutions would be available. Scanning or
I heard Anthony's question. Anthony, with 2N there is Bluetooth module, there is keypad access, and there is RFID, and very soon we will have the digital display. There is no RFID for this unit.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Joe. It's just correctly.
Sorry, I said, yeah, sorry, no fingerprint, no fingerprint.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I have a question for Joe.
Yes.
Hi, hello.
Yes.
Hi, Joe. This is a question for you. For Joe. This is a question for you.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
You said that the ON is can be integrated. Now, ON.
Can you repeat? Your voice was not clear.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you. You might need to send a message via
You might need
the
to
chat
send a
window.
message via the chat window.
Okay. We're going to keep going.
Okay. We're going to keep going.
So,
I have people asking. Sorry, Pete, I just received messages. I have people asking if the door entry can work in our market or only in the US. No, the door entry so far, we tested them in Lebanon, we tested them in Lagos, we tested them in India, we tested them in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. So it will work everywhere. We thought that will not work in some countries that they block the SIP, but since we have our own cloud, it's working perfectly so far.
okay. Thanks, Joe. So now let's talk about the Savant Studio app. This is another very innovative and powerful solution from Savant. This allows you to use an iOS app to actually configure, create, and edit smaller projects. So this is a very unique solution that we have to offer from Savant. Rather than if you have some junior technicians that maybe are not trained on Blueprint, they can deploy a small system and get it started just with this Studio app, very simply and easily. And then a more senior technician can open up that file and configure it and do further programming, more sophisticated programming within Blueprint. So it's a very powerful solution that we have to offer, especially if you're deploying some real simple single room solutions and you just want to send a junior tech out there to program that system. You can be trained on Savant Studio very quickly and easily. And you can see how this works, very similar to Blueprint. You just simply start with what control devices you have or user interfaces you have, what sources, what you're using for switching, and where those sources are going. And then, again, Savant would auto-program that system for you. So very simple and intuitive. And then we also just recently launched Savant SCM, or Savant Central Management, which is a very powerful tool for you to keep track of all your projects that you've deployed. And you can even organize these by region if you're doing certain projects in one neighborhood or development or country. You can organize them that way. If you're doing several projects for one family, you can organize them that way as well. You can determine who has access to look at those systems or change those systems or download those configurations. And it's a really powerful tool that we actually offer separate training on. So if you have questions about that, please talk with Joe and the team at GES, and they can tell you more about SCM. It's a very powerful tool that I would encourage you to sign up for. If you're not signed up for SCM, you're really missing a big part of the benefits that Savant has to offer you and your team. And then let's talk about Savant True Image. This is one of the coolest technologies that I've seen in my 30 years in the industry. is Savant True Image. This is something that previously was only available in the US, but now we are expanding internationally with this, especially with the Savant Pro light strips, which GES can tell you more about those. But the way that the Savant True Image platform works is you simply take a picture of that fixture, and then instantly you're able to control not only the light level, but the color of that fixture and see it change in the app and actually see the fixture change as well. It's a really powerful tool, and this is something that Savant is going to continue to invest very heavily in to provide a global solution for all of our customers around the world. So we do have a full solution available in the US, and now we're in the process of developing some accessories so that can be available all over the world.
We have them all in stock. Come by.
Thank you, Joe. So this is very cool. Again, you can see an example of how this works through either the True Image app, which you can download from the App Store and play with the demo there, or it's available also in the Savant demo app as well. So please check this out. It's seriously cool. And Savant Shading, that's another solution that we have really had great success with in the United States, and now we're in the process of developing global solutions to expand this offering all over the world. So you're going to see a lot more of that, especially at ISE. See the Savant Shading solution expanded as a global solution. But just so you're aware, we have looked at how shades are deployed by integrators around the world and looked at what the pain points are, and we've addressed those. So one of the key pain points that we've identified by talking with dealers all over the world is the process of specifying those shades. And we've created a very powerful Savant shade designer and spec and ordering tool that has been used and is being used every single day in the United States and North America. And now we're just adding support for metric and some other international elements, and we'll be deploying that as a global solution later this year. So keep an eye out for that. And we're coming to an end. We're near the end of the presentation, but this is another really cool development from Savant recently, and that's Apple TV integration. This is something that we debuted at CEDIA last year, and we're very close to releasing this. This will come out in the next software release, and this allows native Apple TV integration. This is something that we worked on in cooperation with Apple to provide really great integration with Apple TV. You can simply use the microphone button to ask Siri, what's the weather in Timbuktu, or what's the weather in Lebanon or Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and instantly you'll see on the screen the weather report. It really works incredibly well. It was a very impressive demo that I saw at CEDIA last year and also at ISE. And you can see videos of this if you just search for Savant Apple TV integration. You can see some really great videos that show you how that works. So this is something that you'll see coming with the next software release from Savant. Also, voice control, that's something that Savant takes very seriously. We've invested very heavily in that. When we first introduced that microphone button on the Pro Remote, that only had a Savant voice control engine behind that button. Now we've amped that up considerably, and it has support for Amazon, Google, Siri, and so forth. So that has a lot of power packed behind that button. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, that's a very unique feature that we have to offer versus the competition, that we can have voice control on demand. And the home screen update, this is something that we're just releasing now. Some great updates to the home screen, being able to swipe up instead of swipe horizontally to see all the different services, and also have a unique user interface. Instead of just using the standard Savant user interface, you now will have the ability to have a simplified user interface, and you can have just certain sources that appear on that home screen when that customer picks that up. And that can be defined by user, or it can be designed by that user interface, or also globally for the entire project. So we are now offering some ability to customize the way that those user interfaces are designed. So please check that out with GES, and also on the demo app that's available. And last but not least, if you have not signed up for the Savant Portal, for access to the Savant Portal, I would strongly encourage you to do so. You can do that through GES, and on the Savant Portal, it's a very powerful resource for you. We have updated Savant product guides that have just recently been updated for all the solutions we have to offer, whether it's audio or video or lighting control, shading, micro aperture speakers, etc. The Pro 8 app, all of those have just recently been updated. So please check those out. But more importantly, we have a really powerful education platform that's available on the portal as well. And I'm not one to sit and look at instructions or watch tutorials or videos, but I love the ones from Savant. They're very well done and very quick and easy. And also, as you pass those courses, you can also get certificates to show off that you've passed the courses. So please check those out. They're really well done and very informative, and will definitely help you to be more efficient in the programming that you do with Savant. And if you don't watch the videos, I think that you're going to miss out on a lot of the great tips and tricks that are available to program Savant systems and deploy them more efficiently. So just to wrap up, some of the benefits that we have to offer, I always like to focus on what the benefits are for you as a integrator and as a business. What benefits do we have to offer you and your customers? First of all, the personalization aspect that we have to offer with Savant is really revolutionary. The ability to customize those screens and allowing your end user to customize their user interface and update their different room photos or home photos, and add user or guest profiles. So if they have a guest staying at their house, with Savant, it's very easy for them to share access to certain elements of that project or the home. They can lock out different rooms. If they don't want them to control the master suite area, no problem. If they don't want them to control the climate or the security system, that's very easy to do. If you have a programmer that is just going out to that project once, you can give them guest access and then remove it later. Also, the ability to have the custom scenes where you can capture macros and create custom scenes. That's a very powerful engine that we have available from Savant. Also, the configurability. We really did pioneer the auto build configuration of the system file by simply defining the signal paths and then allowing the software to build the system file for you. You really need to see that to believe it, and get a demo from the team at GES or some training from the team at GES on how quickly and easily you can deploy these systems. It's really an eye-opener. It has been for me and for any of the dealers that I've met with, and showed them how quickly and powerful that Savant Blueprint software is. It's really something to check out. Also, innovative technology. I hope that you got the sense just in the few slides that we covered with new products that Savant is either working on or has just recently released. They really are a company that is so dedicated to innovation and really spend the entire year just looking at ways that they can stay ahead of the competition and really revolutionize the industry. So they're constantly developing very cool and innovative new technologies. And upgradability, the way that Savant releases their updates, I think is really second to none as well. Like I mentioned, you can very quickly and easily update everything in the Savant system just by downloading the latest update. And that'll not only update the Savant Blueprint software, but also all the devices in the system, and add great features like voice control updates, energy management updates, door entry updates, all of that with just one simple update. And the scalability with Savant, the Savant ecosystem is ever expanding. As you saw some of the new additions to the Savant IP audio, you can easily add those devices into the system and expand your system very quickly and easily. You don't have to buy a whole new host or a whole new audio distribution system. You can, Savant wants those systems to be able to expand over time without replacing hardware. So thank you all for joining today. I'm going to pass it over to Joe and let him talk with you as well. I greatly appreciate the time that you've invested with us today. I know that you're all very busy with your businesses. So thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete. It was amazing. Thank you for all attendees. I have different questions. I asked some of you over WhatsApp. Thanks for everybody for sharing their thought over WhatsApp. I've been answering everybody. Latest question I had, is there only one team for the app? Actually, each house has his own team, the theme, because you take the picture of your room, of your house, and whatever you want to do in the room, it's available as icons. And very soon the new app will be upgraded, as Pete was explaining. You can move all these different way, whatever you want. Even you don't have to program them. The end user can do that. It's just a simple from the app, very easy. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, you have my mobile number, my WhatsApp, my email. You know the address, you know how to find me. I'm always working 24-hour. And I just want to remind you, we are launching the online store. So any of you wants to have login, go register, and if you see you don't have the right prices, email me. I will put you on the premium price level. To enable put you on the premium price level, we need you to insert all your information, because the online team doesn't know you exactly. So once you put all the info, they will know you from the data. So some of the items have different pricing from our price list. They are cheaper online because we want to encourage you go online and find them. We will not put Savant online, we will not put Sound online and some other brands, because these are 200% dealer protection. We will never share any pricing online. But we do have some promotion, clearance, used items, or maybe outdated, out of production items, and maybe you are looking for replacement, so you will find them there. We put different brands like Denon, like Autonomic, and many others. We put them on the dealer login, and only who have access will see them. No public, no one as public will see them. Anyway, thank you everybody. I can see here we have 68 dealers today, and thank you everybody from everywhere. Thank you. Okay, you can see the video training. They are listed on our YouTube channels. You can download them from Dropbox dealer file. If you don't have the Dropbox dealer file link, let me know. I will share it with you. You can download them. 99% of Savant sales has been succeed because you show the app on a video how it works to your client. He doesn't want to know the hardware. He doesn't know where you're going to put these items. He just want to see the user interface of Savant. And 99% succeeded business is because he saw that.
Okay. Thank you again. I appreciate
your questions by email or WhatsApp, whatever you want. I'm ready here.
Thank you again. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Joe and Pete. Thank you for this wonderful session.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Wonderful session.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Goodbye.